This video we're going to concentrate on the ritornello 1, bars 1 to 83, and it's a relatively long opening ritornello with many short motifs from which the rest of the movement is created. So it's very important that you go through your music and listen to this quite often, that you have a good understanding of these 83 bars. It's very important that you listen to your music quite often, and you will see that I've made little remarks on the music. So look at your blank score, and you can also do that on a spare copy that you can practice this. Unusually, the appearance of the ritornello are not in full tutti texture. The ripieno instruments accompany the concertino in a sparse texture. So let's see where the ripieno instruments are. And there you see we have a violin, a second violin and a first violin. We have a viola, a cello, a violone, a very old viol, and we have the continuo. So they're the ripieno. And then we have the concertino on top, the solo violinist, and then we have a flauto 1 and a flauto 2. It's like treble recorders. And what we have here is that the ripieno instruments on top, at the bottom, you will see they have a very sparse texture there, and they don't double the thematic material. The opening 6-bar phrase features the recorders 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you see there we have the solo violinist only playing 3 notes. The same we have with the violin there, the second violinist, and the rest of them. But we have the recorders playing high above the accompaniment so that they can easily be heard. Now a motif is like a building block. Bar 1 and bar 2 in the second recorders are broken chords. So there I see the broken chord pattern. So G, B, D, only play the notes B, G, and B, and D. And in that bar, D, F sharp, A. And this motif here will be used throughout the movement. While the first recorder there has an inverted dominant pedal note. So that's a high D note, inverted dominant pedal. So you see how long it carries on that note. Meanwhile, the skeleton accompaniment outlines 1 to 5 to 1. In bar 3 to 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That part there. The recorders play rising and falling 3-note scales. So I see there, go up, down, up. Okay, down there, down there. Okay, and they are third apart. So look at your notes there. You will see that they are third apart. B, A, G. There I have D, C, B. So the interval the whole time here will be thirds. Okay, with just the bass and continue accompaniment. Okay, I don't have any of the instruments playing there, also not the solo violinist. Okay, I have the continue and the bass playing there. Bar 7 to 12 will be a repeat of bar 1 to 6. So bar 7 will start there, and this is exactly the same as in the beginning, but the recorded parts are now swapped around so that they play in bar 9 to 12. We'll look at that just now, that they play in 6. So the part that the second treble played there will now be played by the first treble. So if I move up now, you will see there, let me just move that, this will now be in 6. If I look at that bar, B to G is a 6. Okay? So it's very important that you know that bar 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, bar 1 to 6 will look exactly the same as bar 7 to 12. In bar 13, I have the solo violinist entering. with new material. So I've never seen this material here. Okay, I still have a sustained note there. Okay, and I can see that all of a sudden that the ripieno section, they're also a little bit more busy. So bar 13, the solo violin enters with new melodic material. I have rising stepwise semiquavers, followed by the repeated notes B, B, G, G, E, E. Okay, and then I have another stepwise and my falling third, and I see that that's a sequence. Okay, because that is a rising sequence. B becomes a C sharp there. I have the same pattern. That C sharp becomes a D there. Okay, and I have the same pattern. So I have that 2-bar rising sequence with a tutti playing alternate bars. Okay, and the recorders alternating to double the violin in thirds. So if you work out this pattern, you will see that they play in thirds. Okay, from bar 18, the sequence is shortened. So from here, you will see all of a sudden I don't have that semi-quaver scale going up. So that 1 bar where the thirds repeat and the drop of the third, it's shortened, that whole sequence is shortened there. That carries on here to that part there. It's still that bar that is a third up and the repeated note. And there I start seeing a C sharp, so the music modulates to the D. Okay? So remember, from bar 18, mark that in your script there. On your sheet music, the sequence is shortened to just 1 bar and the music begins to modulate to the key of D major. Bar 23 to 34, okay, I have the same as bar 1 to bar 12, but it's in the new key of D major. So bar 23, 21, 22, 23. Okay, from here, but I see another important thing, and the violin is also busy there. Okay, so that is the same material, but I have the solo violin has some of the melody and the dominant pedal. And in bar 31 to 34, the ripieno violin completes the melody while the recorders will be silent. So there I have that new block. Okay, and there I see the recorders are silent, and while the solo violinist plays that long dominant note, the melody is completed by the violins, the ripieno violins. Here the viola plays the bass line. See the bass line there? Exactly the same pitch as my continue, while the cellos and the viol, they're also silent. So this is quite an important block there, 31 to 34. Okay. At bar 35, that is that spot there, the recorders introduce a conjunct idea played in thirds and sixths. Ta-ra-ra-ra-ra-ra-ra-ra-ram. Okay, and you can work out that they play in thirds, and that is changed to sixths. This has some connection with earlier material. Bar 38. Let's find bar 38. There's bar 38. Is an inversion of the melody in bar 15. Ta-ram, pam, 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 pam. If you go back to bar 15, let's find bar 15. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And you will see that it's that material, but inverted. Okay. Now let's go to that spot there. Okay, I'll spot there. All the violins have the repeated note and falling thirds. You will see all of them, you can mark that in. They play repeated note, falls a third, repeated note, falls a third. Idea of bar 14. So go back to bar 14 and find that. Now the key here, you will see I don't have C sharp anymore because it goes back to the key of G major. And the texture increases, it passes through C major in bar 41 to 43. So if I go to the next page there, I see the F natural. So mark all the F naturals for you in bar 41 to 43. And from 43, the ties in the recorder part, I've circled them, introduce the syncopation and suspension. So suspension is formed if I have another harmony already happening, but I have a note that carries on from the previous bar. From bar 53, so if you go to bar 53, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, the solo violin and continue plays semiquavers in tenths. Okay, so that's an octave plus 3 notes up. So if you work that out, you will see that the solo violin and the continue plays in tenths. Now bar 57 to 68, that is bar 57. And 58, let's go to 58, you see it there. Use the music from bar 23. So go back to bar 23 and see what happens there, but it's now in the tonic. So everything is in G major. Bach uses ties again in the recorder part from bar 69. Introducing suspensions as part of a rising sequence. Okay? And that's a word that you have to understand. You have to understand the suspensions there. Okay? And the solo violin plays repeated notes and falling thirds idea. So it's got that repeated note and the falling thirds idea there. The important thing is that you understand the suspensions, where it carries on with the previous note over the bar line. From bar 79, there's a faster harmonic rhythm as the music heads towards the final cadence. And there I see the sequence. I've marked that in for you. This E pattern becomes the F sharp, G, A, B. Same here, C, same pattern on D, on E, on F sharp, on G. Okay? So look at that in your music. And from 79, I have a faster harmonic rhythm as the music goes to the final cadence of the ritornello. There I see 5 to 1. Okay? And this overlaps the start of episode 1. Okay? So I went very fast through this very important ritornello. It's very important that you understand words like suspension, sequence, rising, falling, repeated, syncopation. All those words are very important, and that you also know exactly where my ripieno, let's look at the ripieno again, all my instruments of the ripieno and all my instruments that I will have in the concertino, that you have that order. You know the continue, and start practicing the alto clef. You see the alto clef there, that you have a good idea. So go through all your notes. I'm sure that you will understand this. Bar 1 to 83.